It's anniversary season, Star Trek. Have your views shifted any? Today on episode, 337 of Trekland Tuesdays Live with me, Dr. Trek Larry Nemecek, coming at you right here from the heart of Trekland through Portal 47. And yes, Trekland Treks and all the good things we do here to bring you some, hopefully, sanity, clarity, and the big picture, the bigger picture in all things Star Trek. But here it is, mid-December. It's an awesome time. This is a kind of a big day. This is a big day. Well, yesterday was the 15th anniversary of losing Majel Barrett. I need to post something about this, but if we're marking our days, that's happened. And if you're really planning ahead, today it's the last week to get your Prodigy binge watch party set up for the 25th. Okay, maybe you're going to wait till the 26th. Maybe it's family on the 25th and then binge watching on the 26th. But we've got to get those numbers up for Prodigy to prove what's going on here. The biggest thing is also getting your friends, getting your other Trek friends that never gave Prodigy a chance. Oh, it's the kids show. It's a lot more than that. All the old Voyager fans, the veteran, maybe I should say, the veteran fans, from Voyager, if nothing else, but any fan of any of the series, by the time this gets rolling, you're going to enjoy it. There's Romulan intrigue. There's Borg intrigue at one point. It's the first season, all 20 episodes. You can still get your DVDs over here. That's happening. Now, today on the show, I've got my topic, but at the end, I didn't promote this. We have an unboxing today, because here's what I want to talk about today. It's fun, and I mentioned this a few years ago, but we get to this time of year in Trek world, and all of a sudden you remember. I mean, it's one thing to think about the beginnings of seasons in the fall. It's Star Trek. We love our anniversaries. We love marking everything. For one thing, it kind of keeps us honest. For another thing, it's like, oh my God, it's been 30 years. It's been 20 years. It's been 50. Yeah. We have our anniversaries and we love them. And we think about the beginnings of seasons like in the fall, with a couple of exceptions, right? The mid-year DS9 and Voyager with the mid-year replacement shows in January. And then the finales come in the spring and early summer. But apart from that, the ones that get us are the movie anniversaries. And especially, it's like if you're in holiday season, I mean starting Thanksgiving, if you're in holiday season, it's anniversary season for Star Trek. It's anniversary movie season. And they come thick and fast. And if you're not paying attention, you can get spun around. I mean, look, the years are piling up too. But going back to even November 18th, Generations turned 29 this year on November 18th. First Contact was 27 years on November 22nd, which, again, it's a little bit of an Trek movies do a good job of doing an overlay on the tragic days and trying to give them a little uplift, because November 22nd is JFK Assassination Day. And if you're of a certain age, that will always be branded in your brain, even if you were just a toddler when it happened. And then Star Trek 4, November 26th, coming out a week earlier because they couldn't, the previews are so great. The one with the whales was so awesome with preview audiences, and they knew it in their bones that they brought it out a whole week earlier than was intended. Well, how far we've come on that kind of a situation from what happened with the first Star Trek movie, which barely squeaked out and saved the studio all their promised guarantee money on December 7th, again, redeeming another infamous day, literally, a day of infamy. The motion picture was 44 years old this year on December 7th. That was a case where nobody was bringing that one out early. They were squeaking by to make otherwise the studio might have even gone bankrupt with all the advance guarantee money to movie theaters to save that day, because it was the big splash counterattack to Star Wars and Close Encounters. It's amazing that it made the most money of any Star Trek movie because of the pin-up demand, right? Until the JJ movies and inflation just took over and the worldwide grosses and all of that. But no, the motion picture, December 7th, 44 years ago, of course, the oldest of the movies. But then December marches on. December 6th, the day before, actually. Anniversary for Star Trek 6. It was 32 years this year. And then December 11th, Insurrection had its silver anniversary this year. Insurrection was 25 years old this year on December 11th. And then 2 days later, Nemesis. Nemesis turned 21 years, had its 21st birthday. It's legal. It can drink now. Maybe it wants to, on December 13th. Now, when you look at this, half of the original series films are wintertime blockbusters. Half of them were summer blockbusters. And most of the original series movies were the #1 movie of their weekend and also set a box office record at the time, if you can believe that. Yeah. Even after the Star Wars pictures, they were still setting the opening weekend records up until, we'll figure it out, probably the later TNGs. It's interesting how the philosophy changes on whether to make this movie a summer blockbuster or keep it as a holiday family movie. So 2, 3, and 5 of the original series are summers. Everything else is winter. Motion picture, 4 and 6. All of the next gen movies are holiday movies. They're all winter release movies, November, December. Just saying. And then all 3 of the Kelvin JJ movies are summer blockbuster movies. Maybe that reads more into the psychology than we're thinking about. Could explain a few things in hindsight. So there you go. That's why we have half the original series. All the TNG movies have their anniversaries. Right. You can celebrate the holidays and you can celebrate anniversary season for Trek movies. And if they're flying by, the dates just string along here. And every day you wake up, somebody's celebrating a new movie somewhere. That's fun. Here's my question. We can talk about the anniversaries and the math and the sentimentality and all of that. Oh, wait. As of now, I forgot the last one. Star Trek Arabic numeral 4 is set for this month, December 22nd. Isn't that amazing? No? Oh, wait. I'm looking at the early headline. Remember this? 2 years ago, the 4th JJ movie was supposed to be this month. How time flies. I mean, we've known for a long time it wasn't going to be. It was crazy to think at the time it was. Nothing else. Chris Pine has been working on a feature up until late fall, and when was he going to have time to film? So yes, we're still waiting on that Star Trek Arabic 4. I mean, I've heard rumors that some people are actually waiting on it, and it's all fine. It's all good. It's all good. So there's a December movie. Well, that would have been the first of the JJs if that held up. That would have been a winter movie. Would have been a holiday season movie premiere. But we have a long way to go on that story. Stay tuned. Watch this space. Who knows? And there seems to be no philosophy about that. I don't know if the summertime blockbuster will be the thing for 4, Arabic 4, when it comes out. I know that Roman numeral 4, actual Roman numeral 4, was a big holiday movie, right? So here's we're talking about all these films. My question today is, as we celebrate the anniversaries, and we just, struggle to keep up with all of it and celebrate. Have your opinions, has your vision, has your perception, has your gut reaction to any of them changed since they premiered 21, 25, 29, 27, 32, 44 years ago? I know one has, for me, the motion picture, thanks to the 4K director's cut, which is not only edited more tightly, or the original vision, because we got the rush, slam, bam, thank you, ma'am delivery that had to happen, or else Paramount would have lost its shirt in penalty fees to theaters. That's barely the same. I mean, it's the same movie, but all the things we have critiqued, laughed, joked, memed about poor motion picture, the motionless picture, the motion sickness. Yeah, going back to 79, 80. All the things we have said about it for all these years, they're moot. I say this at least once a month. Watch the 4K director's edition. It's color timed. It has ambient sound. The entire temple V'ger bowl scene at the end literally makes sense now. It flows, it builds, it has drama, the characters have arcs. It's not the big gray blob going by deathly silent anymore. So yeah, my opinion about the motion picture has changed. Now that's constructively. Thematically, I'd say sure. That's really more what I'm talking about when I say, has your opinion changed on these? I remember Star Trek 6. I was so PO'd at Star Trek 6 when I saw it as a younger person. I was mad about phasers in the galley. I was mad about the Klingon dictionaries piled up. Like, where did they get these books up? Did they replicate them that fast? We didn't even have replicators. And we had, we'd go have the computer stores make this, is what they would say. There were so many little bits, bobs, and pieces. They're running around the ship looking for the boots of the murderers. Wouldn't they have just, dereclamated them? Wouldn't they have put them in the reclamators and reclaimed the molecules for the... I thought it was crazy. Whoever wore them at the time should have had them instantly dissolved. I mean, would have gotten rid of all traces. I don't know. I just thought there are many ways I just thought Star Trek 6 was clunky in its day. Maybe that's because it was already being up against 4 or 5 years of Next Generation, and a mere weekly TV show was showing up the sophistication that the movie era Treks had gotten to. Maybe that was subliminally in my mind. I don't know. Star Trek 5 is always going to be Star Trek 5. Star Trek 5. The one without the rock monster. The one with... I didn't like the choice of McCoy's. I wanted McCoy's pain to be losing his wife and his family. Fine. It's a interesting scene. Yay, son of David. We now know what David looks like. Okay, fine. People love that scene. Many McCoy fans love that scene. I don't dislike it. I just wish it had been the one huge mystery that we never know, still to this day, know about Prime McCoy, is about the divorce. We don't even know what his actual wife's name was, his ex-wife. It was one of the first Bantam novels before they went to pocketbooks. One of the late 70s novels, Joe Haldeman. See, this is what happens when you're young. You remember these things. Postulated some scenes with McCoy and his wife, and her name was Honey. It was actually Honey, not his pet name. Other than that, we've never had canon McCoy. Okay, so I'm nitpicking 6 to death here. Of course, the big picture splash of it being a Cold War allegory was awesome. And Gorkon's name being Gorbachev and all of that. Sure. I'm just saying, as you look at all of these movies, has your opinion, reaction to them altered over the years? I just stumbled into a thread the other day where people were talking about insurrection and saying, if the greatest slap against insurrection was that it was like a TV episode or a two-parter, okay, in the day that was considered an insult, a slap, a put down. Is that so bad in hindsight? Is it so bad that we had a movie budget level 2-hour extra episode of Next Generation with the characters at their best? Now, yeah, there's your boobs grow. Couple of things didn't land great, and people are still a little antsy about that whole Picard kiss with Anij, or not. I think, have I actually seen some DS9 style, Voyager style revisions and thinking? And you got to remember, the further back you go in fandom, you carry around your original memories and your original reactions. And every once in a while, it takes somebody coming up watching something for the first time, much younger than you, to maybe kind of, goad you into going back and taking a second look. Either the surrounding culture or your own culture after 20 years or 30 years, 10 years even. You came into, even if you never saw a Star Trek movie before the Kelvins in theater, and you only knew it the first time you saw it on tape or on cable or on streaming, even if that was your entry point, maybe just 10 or 20 years later, it's worth revisiting. We watch and rewatch all of the seasons so much, the movies are obviously much easier to watch again. So, I'm looking at this. Is Nemesis still this? Is Nemesis still creepy for the mind rapes of Deanna? Is that creepy, or is that horrifically dramatic? You know, sometimes things that are meant to make you feel disgusted get mistaken as just disgusting movie acts versus the emotion it was supposed to make you employ. But that's Nemesis. And Tom Hardy's initial. Do you see Tom Hardy's later genius coming through it all through here, or is he just drowned and trying to swim through the Trek Technobabble Sea and stand up in that heavy coat, that Matrix coat? Nah. Insurrection. Generations. The whole concept that we couldn't just have a next gen movie because the world had to see a handoff from Kirk to Picard. And of course, the Kirk death. Oh my, it was fun. Has that sat better, worse, differently, multifaceted over the years? Especially the longer we've had real life Kirk with us. And at times as problematic as Shatner has been. But still, he will command an audience and he'll command people to come out when he's out live, much less when he's going into space for the first time. But generations, everything, the Duras sisters, Malcolm McDowell's performance. I don't know. First Contact, my God, the First Contact, one of the jewels of the crown here. Has anything diminished First Contact over the years? I don't think so. People can pull up, The Whale, Star Trek IV. I'm just going back through the list here. I've become more tolerant of 6. I look back and realize I was angry young fan. Take a dose of my own medicine here. Texture, not trivia. Okay, mashed potatoes, a phaser on disrupt, dematerialize. We'll get rid of the pan, but not the potatoes inside. Okay, fine. I guess every chamber on the ship needs a phaser rack, including the galley, the hobby galley, right? The dinner with the Klingon seems a little clunky, but it could have been much clunkier as originally. It was much more a parallel of real life. Guess Who's Coming to Dinner is about as close to aching 20th century parallel as it wound up getting. But it did a lot. And I want to say Star Trek 6 did a lot in hindsight for the public's perception of Star Trek. 4 and the whales and the message and the time travel and the easy humor derived, not plastering on the jokes the way I thought 5 was, sometimes the way I thought Insurrection was. The humor was organic in 4. And not that there was that much humor in 6, but I felt a lot of the emotion was organically seeing Star Trek at its best as a parable of our times, the best of the old original series, of any of the series after that. And I thought, what was the best representation of that? 4 and 6. So yeah, I've calmed down on my initial reaction to 6. And now, of course, forget Shinzon and Deanna. What Spock does to Valeris. Everything we've been through, whether it's mind rape or just categorizing it as torture the last 20 years, what we've been through, people see that with different eyes now and shudder a little bit with Spock. So I'm really looking at our holiday movies here just as a topic. I mean, you can apply this to all the movies. And of course, I'm not even addressing the Kelvins because they were summer movies here. That's a whole different critter anyway. But yeah, just of our beloved holiday movies that we have been celebrating, and we just watch for the ticker to go around every year. We watch our chronologies, our chronometers, to come around every year and tick off another year. Wow. Next year will be 4, so we'll have the 84 and the 94s, right? Oh boy. What do you think? Has your perception of any of these hallowed holiday Trek films, Novembers and Decembers, has it really perceptibly changed over the years? I'm curious. We can talk about it in the chat. That's what I wanted to get to here as we wind down the holiday season. What do you think? Remember, Prodigy. I was kidding about the binge watch parties on Christmas Day, unless, of course, that's what you want to do. But at least remember, as things settle down, maybe in the evening, you and maybe some of the little ones in your life, however they arrive there, can sit down and start off with that very Star Warsy opening to Prodigy, which by the end of the second half hour, you're very much deep in Federation land in Starfleetville, and you're off and running with Hologram Janeway and the kids, and they have far to go through all that. So I don't know. It's an interesting time. What's up with everybody? Hope you're all doing well, though. I'm just going to say, as a reminder, the holidays is a time to remember to be thankful. So I'm thankful for everybody who is in the portal, and boom, that's what you find if you go to the site, right? You can also do the full year plan if you want to do that and give that as a gift too. Just saying. And of course, like I say, Santa does not mind if you get presents for yourself too, right? Hey, look, everybody, I do want to thank another year, another month here with our Patreon folk, our TTL Club, Diana Hopkins, Robin Wilson, Lawrence Todd, Anne-Marie Siegel, Justin Porteous, Galinda Bruton, Chris Jiggins, Pranakasha Productions, Comedy Forecast, and Andrew Jazimski, and our live wires, Rob McLean, Byron Bailey, J.R. Poole, Halberd Gunnjonsson, Alan Hohenzi, Dave Gregory, Tobias Rex, Donna Runyon, and Casey Shafsky. That's the two levels we have. It's a simple level. People say, why do you keep it that simple? Well, because it's my energy on top of everything else we're doing here. $5, $10 at patreon.com/Trekland Live. Of course, I say if you want to have more of a stake in everything I'm doing here at Trekland with our media channels, the Dr. Trek point of view, and archive mental as well as paper, just go jump and join in the portal. It's only a little bit more a month. You can do that. And hey, as the winter unspools and the weather gets nicer here in LA especially, don't forget you can give yourself the gift of a Trekland trek. Come out and do your own custom away mission. I'll help you set it up first, of course. We'll pick out all the ways to have it be an incredible, memorable day unique to you. I'll do whatever you need. Pick you up at your hotel. We'll have the day, 6 hours. We'll have a quick lunch, 4 stops that you've picked out with my help. And then I lead you. I prop wrangle. I help you with cosplay, all the fun stuff. TreklandTreks.com. Think about it for the new year. Maybe as a New Year's present for yourself. And of course, if it's Tuesday, there's a new Trek Files up here in the middle of season 11. We're welcoming back David Gerald and talking about something controversial. The story of Blood and Fire. Not that you're going to cram the entire saga of his script, unproduced, controversial, which it shouldn't have been, Next Generation 1987 era script, the allegory about, gays and AIDS that was never made until it was published, rewritten, and then made as a Star Trek New Voyages fan film. The saga of Blood and Fire this week on the Trek Files with none other than, of course, David Gerald to talk about it. You can find it wherever podcasts are podcasted, but our page at Facebook is where you can get the documents, and we have the original premise for Blood and Fire, which mentions nothing about gay crewmen or AIDS. Go figure. Anyway, that's Trekland. That's the Trek Files on Facebook or wherever you get your podcasts. So look, if you are leaving us now because you've been watching on YouTube later, thanks for doing so. Leave a comment below, like and subscribe the channel, and maybe sometime join us live. Okay? On a Tuesday, 1-ish or so Pacific, 4-ish or so Eastern. And that means you can join in at 9 UK time and 10 Central Europe, or even the next morning in Australia. And whatever you're doing, please come over and find me still on Twitter, still on X, Larry Nemecek, Larry's Trekland on Facebook, on Instagram, and yes, on YouTube. Please like and subscribe, ring the bell, do all the things. And of course, portal47.net. This time of year, think about if you want to join and jump in with all the portales and all of our deep diving behind the scenes like a mini con all year long. All right. That's how I wanted to close today out, everybody. If you're leaving us right now. If you're not, stick around. We'll be right back after this micro break, and we'll dive into the chat. All righty. So if you're leaving us right now, I would say enjoy your holidays, but please, please, please stay healthy. Do all the things. Stay woke. Check your sources. You don't know what they're saying, and you know what? You don't know who's paying for it. Yeah. And trek well, everybody.